Hey guys, I want to take a second to thank Comfort Pro. Since 2001, Comfort Pro has been helping customers stay comfortable where they live, work, and play. They stand behind their work with a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. They have 24/7 emergency service, and if you mention the show, you receive a free watchdog maintenance plan for 1 year. Call Comfort Pro at 484-917-1803. 484-917-1803. That's Comfort Pro. This is going to be a good one, Hugo.
The Brad Weisman Show. Real people, real life, and everything in between.
So what do your kids think of this?
Oh, they are so embarrassed.
I'm not here for the money, but I'll still take it. Take it.
Unfiltered conversations with the people shaping our world.
Because you're judging yourself by your intentions. They're judging you by your actions.
Exactly right.
You know, my wife said to me, you go to work and you give everyone the Mitchell buffet, and you come home and you give me the scraps.
And now, your host, Brad Weisman.
All right. Back for another show. Yeah, you know what? I was away for a little bit.
Oh, yes.
I was away.
Where
yeah.
were you? Tell us, where did you go?
I went on a Disney cruise, man. It was amazing. Well, I should say, the way Disney explains it, it was magical.
There you go.
It was magical. No, we had a great time. Family, kids, actually in-laws, my parents traveled to different parts of the Caribbean.
The ocean.
The ocean, Caribbean. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a really good time. But we had a great time. But we are back. We're back here on a Thursday again.
Who do we have today?
We have
a guest.
A really good guest. His name is Randy Lyman. I've been looking at this guy for a while. His managers or whoever who got in touch with me, I looked at it and it's one of those that hit me right away because it had a lot to do with the law of attraction. I'm one of those that believes in that wholeheartedly, that people come together in life for reasons. I think we're kind of magnetic. When we think about something or think about something that we're looking for in life, things that we need come to us. Mm-hmm. Everybody says, "How did you meet Hugo?" I'm like, I really don't even know. I said I needed his help and didn't even know it. You know, it's kind of the same thing. So Randy wrote a book. It's called The Third Element, and we're going to be bringing that up here in a second. And what it is, the missing key to activating the law of attraction. So we're going to bring him on. Randy, how are you doing, man?
Every day is a great day.
That's good. That's good. Is that part of the law of attraction? You just have to say it's a great day, or what goes on with this, the whole law of attraction?
Well, that's part of it. It really comes down to, as you said, it's our intentions, and it's up to me as to whether I have a great day or not. I'm not going to let anybody else decide for me.
Yeah, it's so good. Right, so true. Right. So let's dig into that. So the book you have out is called The Third Element, and it has to do with the law of attraction, but you dig deeper. You actually mentioned, though, I did do some reason through this today. You do mention about The Secret, which was the movie, the book. It was, 15 years ago, it was the big craze. And you're saying that you just dig a little deeper. So let's dig a little deeper and about.
Well, hang on. I only go down to the subnuclear level. I don't go any farther than that.
By the way, I have to bring up too. He was before he turned 28, I think it was, somewhere in that range. He was a physicist and an engineer. That part blows my mind. Here you are talking about emotions and law of attraction, all these things. And I'm like, how in the world did you get into this type of work?
I met a woman in 1989 who I spent 3 years with. We were romantic partners for 3 years, and she was into spirituality and personal growth. And once I started learning at the unseen components of the human experience, emotions, spirituality, things that are bigger than us, it just blew my mind and it got my attention. Because really, physics is easy. Dealing with emotions and people, that's challenging. That takes a lifetime to learn. And so that's been a lot more exciting and a lot more interesting and more challenging for me.
So what you're saying is nobody gets a master's degree in emotions, right? But you can get a doctorate in physicist, as a physicist, but that's not going to happen with emotions.
Yeah, it's trial and error. And I was really lucky. So I met Maria. And then about a year into our relationship, I went to a business communication seminar or a retreat. And during that retreat, I had this huge emotional release about something my uncle had said 12 years earlier. And then I went back to work 4 days later, and the problem I'd been working on for months of people around me who were incompetent were just solved immediately. Those people became competent or they left my life and the issue went away. And being a scientist, cause and effect, the cause was my emotional release. I was in a big group of people. I broke down. I cried the tears. I let that energy go. Because what was said just hurt me deeply, and I pushed that emotion aside. And once I released that old emotional energy, that old wound, and my physical reality changed. And I made the connection between the release of emotions and my physical reality changing. Because the problem of competence, I looked at it, like I say, for months with better planning, being more clear in my thoughts, being more deliberate in my actions, but I wasn't paying attention to the emotions because nobody had shared that with me. But once I had that experience, then it opened my eyes and I started looking at everything in life as to what is the emotional component of this experience.
Interesting. Yeah. And most people don't make that tie together. You know, most people don't look at it the way you're looking at it, which is really interesting. So let's get into what are things what I had on here is one of my notes is, what is your explanation of the law of attraction? How does it work? How do we get better at attracting the things we desire, personal or career?
The law of attraction is creating our reality instant to instant. And if you look back to two experiments that were run 99 years ago, or one was an experiment, one was theory. So first of all, the double slit experiment, where they shot individual electrons or individual protons at two slots the energy went through these slots, and on the backside, they hit a photographic target, like a piece of film. And it was all covered up in the dark, and they're shooting these individual pieces of energy at the target, and they separate, and they go through the two slits like a wave would, and they re-engage in the backside like a wave would. Well, then they took the lid off this experiment, and they watched it with their human eyes without touching anything. And by simply observing this exact same experiment, these energy particles now, or energy waves, acted like particles. And they said, holy cow, matter is energy until we observe it or until it's called into action, and suddenly it becomes solid matter. So that was the double slit experiment in 1927. And then completely unrelated, Werner Heisenberg, a German physicist, figured out Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. He postulated that we cannot know a particle's position and energy at the same time, or its energy and momentum at the same time. So this means that if we go to the next higher level of dimensionality, there's multiple universes exist and we experience one at a time. So in one reality, I'm sitting there with you in your studio, but that's not the reality that we're experiencing. It is real, but we as humans can only experience one reality at a time. So law of attraction says, how do I resonate with a person's thoughts? How do I resonate with their actions? And how do I resonate with their emotions? And because there's infinite possibilities for us to live out, it chooses the possibility that fits resonance with us, resonance with everybody around us, and how we all work together to learn everything we can learn and get the good experiences and the irritations we need for our growth, moment by moment.
I love that. Good experiences and irritations. So there's good and bad, basically. It's not everything. I mean, it's not like all good.
We can judge it as bad, but what I share in the book is, if we learn to look at every irritation as a gift, which I believe it is, and we say, okay, this gift of an irritation is reminding me of something from the past where I can either change my mindset or I can heal an old emotional trauma. Even if it's something really small, I can heal that old emotional wound. Then the law of attraction is no longer obligated to remind me of what's gone. So I have to feel it. It's like storing gasoline in a metal can. Emotions are bigger than time and space. And if I didn't feel being embarrassed in the 8th grade, and I push that down because I'm 13, I'm a man now. Right? So I'm going to push down our emotions. But that energy is bigger than time and space, and it wants to be felt. And the law of attraction says, I love you, and I want you to release this. So I'm going to irritate you today to remind you can let this go.
Wow. That's deep stuff. I can tell you're a physicist.
Yeah. This is the first time we get this intellectual.
This is very deep. Yeah, very deep stuff. But I love it. It's very cool. So what it said, what makes Randy different is that he doesn't ask leaders to trust their feelings. He helps them understand why their feelings are already running the show. I love how the whole... We go back and forth with this different guests we've had on. We've had like 2 or 3 different guests recently. One was of the thought of, that you don't bring emotions or feelings to work as a leader. And the other one we had on just not too long ago, Heather was on here, and she just said that, you should be in touch with your employees or your leadership and show your emotions and show that you're human and care for your people that are working with you. So, obviously, when you say here that says trust their feelings, it helps them understand their feelings are already running the show. Like, explain that.
Okay, so hang on. So we can trust our intuition. We can also trust that our feelings are valid and need to be felt, but we should never make any decisions based on our emotions.
Right.
So the idea is to acknowledge and embrace our emotions, find time outside of work to work through our own emotional trauma outside of work. Then we show up at work, we're more clear. Once I became more clear, I let go of the anger, and then below that was the disappointment and the betrayal and abandonment, and all those other issues. And I'm not perfect. I'm still working through emotions every day.
Yep.
But once I became more clear, then I could listen to people. I could give them space to feel their emotions. I could acknowledge them for what they're feeling. And then I could be more vulnerable. And what this means is I could say, I don't have all the answers. I need your help. I'm not sure what to do here. Let's do this as a group. If you go back to me 40 years ago, there's no way I would have done that because I thought I would have lost the respect of the people I lead. Instead, when I show up strong enough to be vulnerable, they look at me and they say, holy cow, this man is so confident in who he is, he can show us his weaknesses. And then it builds their respect. And also when I pay attention to them and I appreciate them, I get their respect. And when I get their respect, then we work better together. So that's the short version.
Yeah.
Deal with emotions outside of work and show up more clear and caring and connect with the people we work with.
Yeah. And that's kind of what Heather said too. It makes sense. The other person was on this show the other day. She kind of said that too. It's not like you want to go in and show that you're frustrated about something. You deal with that, but then you go to them and show that you have emotions, that, you know, that it's okay to have some emotions. I agree with that. And that's it. The idea that emotions are bad for business is something many of us absorbed early and never questioned. Tackling that bias starts with recognizing that emotional awareness is a skill, not a liability.
Absolutely a skill, because there's three things people need more than money. They need to be acknowledged for who they are.
Yeah.
I need to see them, remember their name, remember something about them. I don't have to go drink beer with them after work, but I need to acknowledge them as a spiritual being on a human path, doing the best they can. They are a soul. They need to be acknowledged. Second is, do they feel like they're contributing to the cause? A lot of people's life, they feel meaningless. So if I can help them feel that they're contributing to a good cause and making a difference at work, now suddenly work becomes more important to them than their home life.
Right.
Now eventually they'll get to where their confidence builds up and their home life improves, but they need to feel like they're contributing. And then third, they need to feel like they belong to the group. Are they one of us? Are we accepting them into our world? So when we do these three things of acknowledgement, the sense of contribution, and the sense of belonging, then it sets them at ease. Now they want to succeed. And also, if I come with personal frustration, I can't push that down. People are going to hear it. They're going to feel it. And whether I'm walking into a team member meeting at work or I'm walking into a boardroom meeting and with a bunch of tough guys and gals who are all going to be intellectual, if I'm feeling frustrated, they're going to sense it. If I'm feeling angry, they're going to sense it. We can't turn those emotions off. Now I can write them down before I go into the meeting and acknowledge them and say, I'm going to talk to you later. Please hang on. Please wait.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference because now I'm aware of my emotions. And the awareness is the best place to start.
You talk about that. There was somewhere else you talk about writing down those emotions, because then they become about being tangible. You know, explain that. Like when you write them down, it actually helps you run through it or work through it. Hey guys, if you're looking to buy or sell a house in Berks County or beyond, let me know. This is Brad Weisman from the Brad Weisman Show. You probably know I'm also a realtor, but I wanted to remind you, if you have any questions or you need anything, please give me a call, 484-256-5836. Thanks.
I like to take a few steps to get there. It absolutely does what you said. It helps us become aware of it. It helps us work through it. If we have to push it aside for a moment, because sometimes we do. Sometimes we have a serious situation where, God, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling sad, and I have to push that aside. But if I write it down, then it's almost like a child where you tell them, okay, I'm going to go get you some ice cream later today. Just behave for me for the moment.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Remember, I was just on a Disney cruise. I get all of that.
And so that works. So what I tell people is write down a piece of paper, divide it into 4 columns. The first column is, where is the problem outside of me? Second column is, what is a logical solution? The third column is, what kind of a judgment do I have around this situation? Am I judging myself? Am I judging somebody? Am I judging God or the weather? Where's my judgment? And then under there, here's the real power. Is what's the emotion under that judgment? Am I disappointed? Am I feel betrayed? Do I feel jealous? Do I feel helpless? Now that I've acknowledged that emotion, I've done it in a logical progression. So my thinking mind doesn't shut off the process. My thinking mind has to be involved in the process of acknowledging and healing my emotions, or it says, nope, we're not going to feel that. That hurts. The mind protects us from everything except itself.
Interesting. That's good. Very good. Yeah, let's get another bullet here I had was you said your mind will think that you have thousands of problems. This has a lot to do with this. That's what we just talked about. And I love this. You said your mind will think you have thousands of problems or issues but when you write them and then you write them down, they become tangible and you realize it's not what you thought. And that's so true. There's a lot of times I'm stressed out and I'm like, oh my God, I got a million things to do today for work and I got to do this and this. And then all of a sudden you pull a piece of paper out and you actually write down the things you have to do today. It's not as many things as you thought it was.
And then my mind already says, okay, I can do this. I can conquer this. I don't know very few times I don't think I've ever got to page 2 on my list of problems.
Right.
And even at page 2 or page 3, I say, okay, I can do this. We're intelligent human beings. We've taken on huge projects and task lists, even if it's just building something in the backyard. And we know that once the problem is defined, we can accomplish what we need to accomplish. And so it's just a matter of taking away the mind's interpretation of a problem that's not as big as we think it is. And then the willingness to say, I'm going to feel the emotions, even though I know they're going to be painful. I'm going to find the time and place.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very good. You know, I was thinking about also earlier today when I was looking at some of your stuff, you know, I'm big into the reticular activating system. You know, a lot of people talk about that. Wayne Dyer talks about it. Ed Milet talks about it and there's things like that. I almost feel that sometimes the law of attraction uses that system also. I tend to think that when we are thinking about something or you have something on your mind that you're really trying to bring to you or you're really trying to make part of your life or a success that you're trying to achieve, you know, I think what happens is you start listening and hearing things different and you tend to be like, oh my gosh, I think that person just said that, you know, and then you kind of bring them into the fold and then all of a sudden they become part of your lives. Do you see that in the same?
Well, it's both. We find what we go looking for. So if I go looking for something, I'm going to be more likely to see it. But at the same time, when I'm thinking the thoughts and I'm setting my intentions or I'm just imagining something, that's a vibration in my mind. That's a vibration in the molecules in my brain and those waveforms go out into the entire universe. And the law of attraction says, I see that picture in your imagination and I'm going to amplify that in the reality around you. And at the same time, we start looking for it. So it's the two working together.
Yeah. And is that prayer? I mean, wouldn't you consider that to be a prayer also? I mean, when we sit, if you're giving gratitude or you're praying at night or whatever you do, whoever God, whatever spirit you believe in, I mean, that's kind of putting it out into the universe also.
Every thought is a prayer. Every action is a prayer. Every emotion that we feel is a little different because it's how we're already connected, but every thought is a prayer.
Interesting. Very good. That's a good way of looking at it. Every thought's a prayer. I like that. Very good. So then let's get into, this was something I saw in here, which I love. The intro to your book had 4 different things, 4 different questions. And I'm going to go down through the questions and maybe you can kind of highlight. What's that? You know what it is, right? And it comes up at the end of the book also. I kind of skimmed through it because I just got it today. What if the world really does revolve around us? Was another thing. What if nothing in our life is by chance? What if the only thing holding us back from reaching our full potential is ourself? What if this book holds the key to your true power and happiness? Let's deal with those first 3 questions there. What if the world really does revolve around us? I've never heard of anybody say that, but it's interesting because if you believe in the law of attraction, then you do believe that there's a certain part of the universe that does revolve around every single one of us.
Well, I take the point that we don't have to believe in it. That's really the reality. Everything good, bad, and otherwise that we experience is a reflection of a part of us. So it's not that we want the world to revolve around our ego. That's not the point.
That's a different, ego is different. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but the world that's created for us to experience is created moment by moment in response to who we are. And if we try and change somebody outside of ourselves, good luck with that. I haven't been able to change anybody outside of myself unless they were willing to change or they asked for help. And even then, they usually don't want to change. But I always have the power to come back and change myself. And when I put aside blame and I say, okay, I'm responsible for fixing this by looking at myself, changing my thoughts, changing my actions, and healing my emotions. Now I'm in the driver's seat as much as I can be. And I don't want somebody else to be in the driver's seat. I don't want Chance to be in the driver's seat. And when I take that position, which I've taken that position for 34 years now, the world works for me. And yeah, there's irritations. Yeah, there's disappointments and all those things happen. But I've experienced so much success and been able to work with so many wonderful people based on changing my perspective and changing what I'm looking for and changing how I treat people. I've experienced an amazing life. And that's the reason I wrote the book, is I want other people to have great results like I've had in my life.
Yeah, I think, and it's funny how, I keep thinking back to, there's a guy that does a podcast, and this where when you were just saying about things that people kind of open your mind to, or you kind of become aware of things. And when we have, what is it saying? I just heard recently, if you have awareness, you have choices. If you have choices, you have freedom. And I thought that was a great saying. And somebody that I just commented on today, and this guy's been on our show a couple of times. His name is Mitchell Osmond. If you get a chance to listen to him, he's really good. It's called The Dad Nation. And I'll tell you, he's one of those guys that I read his Instagram messages that he has and his quotes. And a lot of it's, all of it's about fatherhood. And I don't know if you have children or not or whatever, but it's about fatherhood. And it's things that he opens your mind to, that in the moment you realize that there's the possibility of being, not that I'm a bad dad, so the same kind of stuff, but that you can be better at anything. I don't think we're bad humans. A lot of us are not bad humans. And we all think, some people think, oh, we need to be fixed, or I need to do this or do that. But if you can just change a little part of yourself, you can't change somebody else. Like you just said, change a little bit of yourself each day, you're better than you were 2 weeks ago, and I think that's important. So I love that message. I don't know if you want to expand on that or not, or you agree with what I'm saying.
Well, here's the thing. Even if somebody doesn't believe in the law of attraction, try being a better person, or being good, or being more kind, or being more friendly for a week. It's going to bring better results, whether the law of attraction is real or not, whether you believe in the law of attraction or not. What I share in a way that can help anybody. This isn't about religion. This isn't about my beliefs. This is about my experiences, my observations, and what I've seen is real. And this is about taking charge of our life through optimism, and also through surrender. So I have a great deal of faith. I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual. Yeah. And I have seen so many beautiful things happen to me when I've been willing to surrender and say to whoever's bigger than us, show me an answer, show me something. I'm ready. And the answer comes through. And after I've done that a few thousand times, then I start to believe.
And you know what's funny about that too, Randy, is and Hugo and I talk about this, is that when you're in that position, where you're in that place where you just said, show me the way, or whatever it is, the ego is completely distinguished, it can't be around. And we talk about gratitude. Well, the one thing that can't happen during giving gratitude is your ego cannot be there. There's no ego during gratitude. It's the best thing that there is. I say this
in the book. It's a great cheat code. It's to slow down and be grateful for something. Okay, I'm having a shitty day. Well, God, I got a house to live in. Or maybe I got somebody else's couch I'm sleeping on. But at least I get to sleep on their couch. Or maybe I'm sleeping in my car. It's better than sleeping on the sidewalk. I have running water. I live in America, for God's sakes. That's amazing. Even with all the challenges in this country, it is the best place on earth to be. Absolutely. I've been to many other countries. And so when we start looking for the good, then we start having a true sense of gratitude. That's a feeling. Starts with thoughts. It ends up being a feeling. And then, as you said, the ego kind of becomes quiet. And it's not that we want to kill the ego, but the ego has to learn to partner with two things. The ego can learn to partner with our higher self through our intuition, and it can learn to partner through our emotional self, through our inner child. And a lot of men will say, inner child, I don't have an inner child. Okay, well, do you like to drive a fast car, or to skydive, or to do something else dangerous or challenging? That's the inner child. That's where creativity comes from. That's where joy comes from. That's where the beautiful experiences interacting with our families come from. Yeah. So we partner with our higher self, their intuition, our inner child, to deal with our emotions. And now we find balance, and it doesn't happen right away. But I can tell you, anybody who decides to go down that path, here's the fun thing. The law of attraction will say, oh, you want personal growth? You want to find more peace? You want to find more success and happiness? I'll help you.
That's very cool. Yeah. So let's go into the second part. What is nothing? Yeah. What if nothing in our life is by chance?
Nothing in our life is by chance.
It's all on purpose.
It's not. So everything at a nuclear level responds to what a higher source is calling it into action to be. And energy is all there really is at every level. We go deeper and deeper. We find more and more space. And then we think we found a particle, and we dig into that particle and we find out it's just energy. It's just a waveform. And this is all just a big hologram. This is a simulation. Now it hurts if we cut our finger or we break our leg, it still hurts. That simulation has consequences. But when we step back and say, wait a minute, there is no spoon as in the Matrix, right? And we can decide what everything is. Just suspend belief for a while and try that. And if we try that and we change our intention and we have good intentions, the law of attraction gets behind us and brings us more good things.
Yeah, so true. What if the only thing holding us back from reaching our full potential is ourself? I think that's a lot of people. I think they're their own enemy. They're their own source of negativity and holding themselves back from doing what they really want. I have friends that way that you have known for 30 years and are still stuck in this thing of woe is me, and and that the world is happening to me, not for me, and all these things. And it's amazing because eventually you have to distance yourself because you can't be around that energy anymore. So I think that is very true. Reaching out to your full potential by yourself or ourselves.
Why not? Why not change ourselves? It doesn't really cost us anything.
Right. And I always think too, if what you're doing right now or the past 30 years of your life or wherever, 40 years, 50 years, if it was based on negativity and the whole doubting and all that stuff, and you don't like where it got you, wow, guess what? You have another choice.
You remember the Seinfeld episode where George just did the opposite of everything that he thought he should do, and his life worked out.
Yep.
So it's kind of like that in a way.
Yep, absolutely.
And we have control over our thoughts, our actions, and to deal with our emotions. And I've just found that I don't really have control over anything else. Yeah. It's not that I don't want to. I'd love to just rule the whole world if I could, but I don't have the ability to do that. Nobody else does, except we can rule our own world when we take responsibility for it.
Absolutely. And then the last question is, what if this book holds the key to your true power and happiness? So tell us why you wrote the book. Give us a little, give us, what are the points you would say, if I was going to give you 3 points on why to read this book, what would it be?
40 years ago, I was not happy. I was frustrated, and I was an asshole to work with.
Wow.
And then when I started seeing life from, okay, I have to change me, and my emotions are important, and I have to be clear in my thoughts and my actions, and I started making those changes with Maria's help and guidance and support, then I found amazing success. I met wonderful people. I changed the industry that I was in. I have been able to provide jobs for thousands of people and serve millions of customers. And the material success is all wonderful. But what really has changed is the level of peace that I have, even when facing problems today. The level of success that I've achieved through working with people and seeing the best in people who doubted themselves and helping them become better at work and in their personal lives. And I just want everybody on this planet, anybody who has the chance and who has the time to read the book, to say, this makes sense, and I'm willing to look at my life differently, and hopefully they can find just 1/10 of the success I've had and 1/10 of the peace I've had. And if I can only touch 10 people in the world, then it's all worth it.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So what was, there had to, just real quick, and then we're going to wrap it up, but there had to be was there that moment that you remember that you said you were an asshole before, or you were an ass to work with before, or whatever. Yeah. So what was there a moment where you're like, God damn, I'm a jerk. I'm not treating people well. Was there did somebody tell you, what, you're an idiot? Did they say you're a jerk? Did they come to you and say, you know what, you need to think about how you treat people?
Maria told me that in 1989. She told me that. She was just frank. She was kind, sweet woman, still sweet to this day.
Where's Maria? Are you married to Maria?
No, I talked to her about 6 months ago. I didn't talk to her for 33 years. And finally, I was able to track her down after I finished the book. And she was grateful. And we got a few conversations.
Oh, awesome.
She just would hold me accountable for anything that I needed to see. She would just tell me bluntly. She did not hold back. So I made it through some progress from 1989 on. And then in 1999, I had sold my first group of companies and started over 3 years earlier. And I was out of money and my companies weren't successful. And I was getting frustrated. And I had 3 employees who were part of my management team come into my office one afternoon and they said, Randy, we need to talk to you. Can we shut the door? And I said, yes. And they said, you're not going to want to hear this, but we need to tell you, you are the biggest problem in your business right now. And you need to find a way to be the best person you can be because you're not being your best. And we need you to seriously consider how you're showing up.
Wow, that's an eye opener there in business.
That's very good. Like that's very good on their part, though. That takes guts.
Yeah, it does take guts
and love and care for you as an individual for them to do that. To say that to you.
So true.
Yeah, Hugo, you're right. Exactly. And I thank them to this day for being bold enough, brave enough to speak frankly to me and tell me the truth.
Yeah, that's cool. Those were good people in your life, I'll tell you, because there's a lot of times people, like you said, people won't tell you the truth, especially if you're the leader. People tend to not want to. But then again, what's funny now, the way you are, because you are vulnerable, you're a vulnerable leader, and you allow to. I think when people realize that they know when you realize you're not perfect, and you allow people to see that you understand you're not perfect, they actually feel that they can level with you if they need to, whether you're the boss or you're the leader or the owner or whoever you are. I think that people feel that you're approachable, and that you probably weren't approachable back then.
No, I wasn't. And here's the important part. I never would have got there with my brain alone. I'm a smart guy.
Yeah.
I work hard, but that would not have been enough to help me get to where I'm at today. I had to deal with the pain. I had a great childhood, but I still had trauma. We all do.
Yeah.
When we're 40 years old or we're 14 years old, the world is bigger than us. And it's a traumatic place to be.
Yeah.
Emotions are bigger than time and space, and we're human. And when we start down the path of healing, of spiritual growth, personal growth, whatever you want to call it, we don't have to do it perfectly, and we're going to make mistakes, and that's okay.
Yeah, it is okay. And that's the way everything is in life, though. I got to tell it's the way everything is. We're not going to know it all.
Ice cream is pretty much always good.
You and my daughter and my son and my wife would agree. I'm not a big an ice cream person, believe it or not. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm more of a chocolate cake and apple pie guy. But I loved having you on, Randy. Thanks so much. Tell us where we can get you. Tell us about how they find the book and all that stuff real quick so we can so people can find you.
The book is on a major online bookseller, and then through my website, randylyman.com, there's links to the book, to my social media to follow me there, LinkedIn. I have free offers there. I have free tapping videos, and people can get access to what I share for free. This isn't about selling books. This is about helping people find a path to more personal freedom.
And that's why we had you on. We don't like when people are on here just to sell books. We want people to actually contribute it's about giving before you get anything back. So that's very cool. And also your Instagram page is great too. So I would send people to Randy Lyman. It's pretty simple to find him on there. It's Lyman.
I am Randy Lyman.
I am Randy Lyman. There you go. It's really good. And he's got a lot of information there, a lot of little reels and things like that'll help you out. So that's about it. See you, Randy.
Thank you.
All right. Holy mackerel, that was a good show. That got deep.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing like talking to a physicist. You know what I mean? Seriously. I might have to listen back with that and go in through like a dictionary to look up some of the terms. But no, that was a good time. So that's him, the author of The Third Element, the missing key to activating the law of attraction. There you go. All right. We'll see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. We're going to have another great guest coming your way. All right. See ya. Hi, this is Brad Weisman. Come back here every Thursday at 7 p.m. to watch The Brad Weisman Show. We have new guests every single week, and we love having you as an audience. All right, we'll see you soon.